everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Nick. All right, everybody. Welcome. How is everybody doing? I see a number of people already in here. Happy Monday morning to you. As you know, on our little show here, or our streams here, we basically go through the markets together. We talk about what's going on. And before we get into it, let's not rush. It is Monday morning for me. For some of you guys, I'm sure it's afternoon. But we had a pretty interesting start to the week. It seems like risk on still remains, which is great for some of my positions, as I have stayed risk on lately with most of my trades. So good morning and welcome to everybody who is in here with me. Awesome. I already see Phil, the moderator here. Good to see you, Phil. Hi, Nick. Hope you had a good weekend. You too, man. Good to see Leandro as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Awesome. Hello to everybody here. Okay, so yeah, we've got some analysis to do. We got to talk about what's going on in terms of technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and it seems like I was saying just a second ago, it seems like risk on sentiment right now is the go-to. It is the status quo. What that means is that things continue to seem like they are optimistic, that there's a good outlook in terms of the world's ability to rebound from this whole pandemic, which has dominated the headlines for over a year now here in the financial markets and just everyone else's life, right? Just because we've all had to deal with it. Now, when it comes to markets, we see oil rising dramatically today, which is, definitely a good sign for risk on. It is definitely a good sign for sentiment in general. I think that that's great, and I think that oil probably would continue to go up just based on what we've seen. And it also bodes well for some of my positions that I have, or my position that I have on right now. So without further ado, I do want to show you guys, before we go into the charts, I want to show you guys Forex Factory, just to remind you that this week we do have NFP. So this is usually a pretty big factor that can come into play. It can really tick the market higher or lower based on what the U.S. unemployment numbers are looking like. This is another sign of how good the recovery in the U.S. is, and a lot of times that can sort of echo throughout the world. So keep your eye there on NFP this week on Friday. Comes out at 8:30 U.S. Eastern, and basically this is the unemployment rate change here in the United States, which is sort of a pretty important figure for the U.S. dollar, but also just for other economies, relatively speaking. So if we get good numbers for the U.S. Unemployment, that would cause the U.S. dollar likely to spike higher, and vice versa. If numbers are less than expected or worse, then definitely could see the opposite effect take place. So that's really the only major news that we have here going into the week that I wanted to mention. And so just wanted to keep that on you guys' radar as well. And that's going to be, again, Friday here, as it always is. We get NFP on a Friday of the first Friday of each new month. Okay, so let's go take a look here, and let's see if we can talk a little bit about the trade that I'm in starting off. So I'm in New Zealand yen. So this is a position that I have on currently. I've shared this inside of the private group, and basically gone through this as just I've gone through it a couple times. I talked about it yesterday, even on the Sunday analysis that I do. But I just wanted to kind of reiterate, this is just another position that I have which favors the whole risk on environment. What I mean by that is that during recovery periods, people are going to buy something that grows a little bit more stable. And I actually, or they're going to potentially grows faster. I actually sort of misspoke on my analysis yesterday. I said that people buy the Japanese yen and it produces like a stable upward growth. But the reality actually is, if you were to buy the Japanese yen and hold it, you would get a slow, steady decline. Why? Because if you had your money in their banks, it actually offers a minus 0.1% interest rate. So that's a pretty big deal, because if it offers a minus 0.1, that means that if you put your money in the Japanese banks, over time it's going to devalue. So that's what I wanted to clarify. What I meant by that yesterday is that if you buy something like the New Zealand dollar, it has the potential to grow very well in a market environment that is conducive to growth, like a risk on environment. So people are seemingly still favoring the New Zealand dollar instead of buying the yen. Now, why would you want to buy the yen? Well, people will buy the yen when the markets tank, because in that case, the market, the Japanese yen may slightly increase at a slow rate, and the New Zealand dollar would dramatically drop, right? That's the idea. So in risk on, you get New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar, you get the pound. They tend to outperform, right? And the yen sort of is just sort of this slow and steady, if you will. And then during the bad times, people will buy the yen dramatically and sell off that New Zealand dollar. So I just wanted to clarify that. I spoke incorrectly yesterday on the analysis there. So again, I've got a position on NZD Jpy. Still got my trade in place here with the stop at break even, which is kind of a good spot to be at this case. At this place, it's not a matter of if I make money or not. It's just a matter of, can the market give me more money out of this move. For those of you who are in the private group where I shared this trade, as we go along, if price continues, if we get a couple more breakouts here, we'll start to notch up that take profit, or sorry, the stop loss there, and move it up with price. So keep an eye on that. If we get a nice move higher, if we can hold these breakout points today, I will probably be trailing stops upwards here on NZD Jpy. So keep an eye on that. Nice little trade so far. We'll see if that can keep going. Let's head over to Euro USD. I talked about this one yesterday on the pre-market Sunday special. So what I mentioned is that I still have a target here on euro dollar down at 1.17. I think that it's probably headed there. Unfortunately, I don't have a position on that, but again, I don't want to open myself up to too many trades at one time. I like to sort of let one trade. It also depends on risk and correlation. If you take 3% risk on NZD JPY, and you also take 3% on New Zealand dollar, right? If you took 3% risk on each one, you're really taking more than 3%. You're not, because these two are going to move similar to one another, right? There's correlation here, right? So if this one goes down dramatically, this one also could go down dramatically. So you're really risking like 6%. So I don't want to expose myself dramatically to too much risk on one thing at one time. So usually I'm careful with how many positions that are correlated I have open at the same time. All right, so euro dollar, nice little downtrend here. Things still looking bearish. I'm very bearish on this pair. I think that retests are probably places to short, in my opinion. Price coming back to this point would be a nice area to see just continuation down to that target that I have, which is 1.17 to 1.16, this zone that I've drawn out on the screen. Why that zone? Well, just because back here, which happens to be right where the elections were, interestingly enough, this is the election zone, sort of, when elections in the U.S. were very, very dominant of the headlines. The U.S. dollar was sort of flat against the euro for a little bit, and then it started dipping. The U.S. dollar got strong, and then the euro got quite strong. And then now we've seen sort of a shift here in 2021 as things have started to calm down and more trust has gone into the U.S.'s economy. So with that, I'm still playing along with that fundamental driver, and I think that, you know, retracements here are probably just good opportunities to continue to short the euro in favor of the, in my view, the stronger U.S. dollar, which you know, with the strong vaccine rollout. There was arguably also, you know, during this time, it was perceived as, you know, Europe is doing a better job with the vaccine rollout. And since then, since things have started to get rolling here with the vaccine rollout in the U.S., it has really changed directions, and the U.S. has been sort of favored on that front, which, like I said earlier, is sort of the driving force in markets right now. Does that make sense? Good morning and welcome to everybody who is in here. I know I've started off hot really quick here on Monday morning. I know for you, some of you, it's Monday afternoon, but I jumped right into it today, and I apologize for not saying hello and welcome to more people. But thank you guys for being here. I hope you had a nice weekend. I definitely did. I saw some friends. I got with my girlfriend. We ran 6 miles yesterday, so I am sore. But we're training for a half marathon, and gonna be doing that here in May, so trying to get prepped for that. But it's been tough, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a decent runner. I like to run, but it is definitely 6 miles is tough when you haven't been. I mean, I've been working up to it. I did like 3 miles and then 4 miles and 5 miles and 6 miles, but it's still, that's a lot of running. I hope everyone else had a good weekend, though. Definitely needed a little bit of time away just to relax, but we're back here and fresh in the office this week. So that's what I'm looking at with euro dollar. I think, I mean, really, there's no other area that I'd be interested in selling. I wouldn't be trading anything lower time frame. Although for those of you guys who are trading lower time frame, let me just point out this sort of consolidation zone that we are in right now. You know, because arguably there's moves to be caught on both directions. Even if you're a longer term bear, there might be short term bullish setups that could work, and vice versa. There might be, you know, if you're a long term bull, maybe short term you could find some bearish setups. Let me just point this out. We have this consolidation zone here on Euro USD, where price is sort of holding the lows and also holding the highs, right? So as we sort of stay in this zone, there's really no conviction one way or the other just yet. However, if price were to want to get higher here, if price were to break out, and let's say you think it does want to retest zones, if you think that it is a bit extended to the downside and you say, okay, well, if it gives me a nice technical setup, I could see a nice little trade here that gives me a decent risk reward. Now, this is riskier because I'm going to say, you know, this is sort of counter trend. This is going against the overall movement, so I probably wouldn't be taking this trade myself. But for those of you guys who are short-term traders, if you're looking for just a consolidation zone breakout, you know, if price were to break this, break higher here, retest, and shoot back up to that level of supply that I'd be interested in selling in, you know, you have to be respectful of the longer term trend, right? Because things could, you know, start to dip here and continue longer term. But maybe you say, well, I want to catch that rebound. I think euro dollar has potential there, and a lot of you guys love to trade euro dollar, so. There's my one bullish thesis there, short term on euro dollars. You know, this could be due for a pullback up to the 1.185, at which point I'd probably be looking to short. So that's my view on euro dollar this morning. For the bears, like I said, for me, the best bearish setup is selling that up here. But another potential setup for those of you guys who are breakout traders short term, we could just not even get the pullback. We could just go from consolidation to strong breakout. And in this case, there's probably a setup here as well. So let me talk about that for a moment. So another setup here is, like, let's just say we don't even get the pullback. Price never comes back. We get some sort of fresh data, or something just happens, or maybe just, you know, sellers just come in strong. Whatever reason happens, let's say that we do come down here strong, and we break underneath this level. Well, if we break underneath there, what that tells us is, well, buyers were strong here, but they weren't strong enough to hold it in this zone. That could be a sign of weakness. That could ultimately turn into a rollover effect that heads down to our target zone, or my target zone, at 1.17. So in that case, maybe there's a trade setup watching for the break and retest there. So if you're a shorter term trader, again, this is the 1 hour chart. So we're looking at it a little bit closer here, but this is what I'm looking at on euro dollar short term. Like I said, the trade setup that I like the best on euro dollar would be if we got this, the retest to that major structural supply zone that we have up on the 4-hour and even the daily chart. So there's a full deep dive for those of you guys technically looking at the bulls. Looking at the bullish and bearish setups on Euro USD. Again, these are my thoughts here on this pair. I'm sticking a lot to the technicals this morning because we have a lot of interesting moves. Let's keep moving on. I want to look at GBP USD. Let's pull this one up, see how things are going. So pound dollar on the 4-hour chart is very interesting here. So we're back at resistance, and this is definitely a line in the sand. So we talked about this yesterday in the Sunday video that I did. The pound dollar is a pair that I am pretty not interested in trading right now, and the reason is, I've said it a couple times here on stream, I'm pretty bullish on the pound and on the US dollar at the same time, and I like to trade a strong currency versus a weak currency based on my analysis. So if I have a currency that I really like that is very, very bullish, I might buy that currency relative to shorting a currency that I'm not so interested in. And one of the best ways that I know how to show that is to show you guys this tier list that I have here. So up at the top, you can see the currencies that I'm most bullish on. You've got the US dollar, you've got the British pound, and then you've got those New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar there up at the top. Those are some of my most interested currencies to be long right now. And then on the bearish side, I've got things like the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, and the euro, all of which I'd be much more interested in shorting than going long. And this is combining the technicals and the fundamentals when it comes to Forex trading. A lot of times people just look at the technicals, and that's not really like my style. I like to understand, why am I short the euro? Is there something going on in Europe that makes me want to be bearish, or is it bullish in Europe, right? I just want to know sort of my bias as to where the market is likely headed based on not just the chart, but the fundamental underlying trends that are going on in the world that we can observe and sort of take into account for our trading. So with the pound has done, or the UK has been perceived as doing very, very good with their vaccine rollout compared to other places in the world. They've also had some pretty strong economic rebound compared to other places as well. And so I'm pretty bullish on the pound at the moment. Again, also bullish on the US dollar, however, because they've also sort of turned things around with the vaccine rollout, apparently, or it is being perceived as doing better now than places like Europe, and the economic bounce back has been fairly strong here. With that said, just from a technical view, we are coming into a pretty strong level of resistance here, or supply, at this 1.3830, let's say, right where we're currently at. We can see price testing a resistance point. I know a lot of traders are probably going to want to take this thing short here just because, again, we saw strong support here and strong resistance here. I don't think it's the worst trade ever if you're a bear on the pound dollar, if you think it has room to go lower. Entering into a pretty interesting zone here. The cool thing is, if you were to get bearish, you've got kind of a stop loss placement that's kind of like not the worst, right? Because you have this trend line here to the downside that we highlighted here, right? So we've just gone across the tops here on the 4-hour chart. We did put in some lower highs, and so if that were to stay the case, then we would probably want to see pound dollar not go too much higher than this trend line here, right? So we'd probably want to see this trend line hold. So in that case, I would probably, if I was to take this trade just from a technical view, I'd probably want to put my stop above the trend line here. In this case, what I've got drawn out is risking about 66 pips there for the potential to make a move back down to the lows. If that were to happen, that's a 2-to-1, means you would potentially have 140 pips on the table there if it were just to continue its little short-term downtrend. However, I wouldn't take that trade. So the reason I wouldn't is because I am bullish on both currencies, and because the longer-term trend here is pretty bullish on the pound dollar. So if anything, I'd probably be more interested on the long side. But for those of you who are more intraday traders, then yes, there might be some room here just for a bounce play off of this level of supply. Again, from a technical view, a nice little area that was very bullish for price here has now come into play again. We're retesting it, and it's a big area of interest for the bulls and the bears right now to see if sellers can hold this zone. Let me give you one more scenario. Let's say that doesn't work. Let's say price does break out. For the bulls out there, I'd really like to see price do one of these. Break out higher in favor of the longer term trend, and then looking for the retest to continue that trade up. I think in this case it actually even gives more potential, because again, you've got the dominant trend to the upside, and if price were to break out there, I think the stop loss placement in this is even better. You've got some structure there, and you could look for moves all the way up to, you know, major supply at this level, 1.40. And I think that in that case, you have some pretty nice risk to reward. That's what, a 2.5 to 1, just risking that 70 pips there. So I like that trade a little bit better, but again, probably not going to be taking trades. I think there's a lot more out there right now that I'd be interested than the pound dollar personally. You might, but for those of you who are liking these zones, keep an eye on them. Let's see if they can hold today or if they're going to break out. All right, so Dade just shared something in the chat. Julie might have shared it earlier, but I'm missing the chat a little bit today. Julie just shared that our analyst Joe is hosting a free webinar today at 3 p.m. Eastern, about 6 hours from now. Sign up here to get access. Yes, so check that out. If you sign up for our newsletter, you get access to our trade alerts and trade ideas, or things that we're looking at in the markets. So check that out. It's free to join that. So just go click the link that I just put up at the top of the chat box there. You can also sign up in the description below for those of you who are watching back. But if you sign up for our newsletter, we're doing a free webinar with Joe today. It actually is free. Joe just gets on there and he helps people out, answers some questions, and goes through a topic for his day. So definitely tune into that if you want to see somebody else than just myself blabbering. Joe is he's a really experienced trader, and he's a really great guy. So check his video out just by signing up for the newsletter, and you'll get an email on where you can join that. It's just a Zoom link, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, let's move on. Let's see what else we can look at. I know dollar yen is very strong today. We'll go to USD JPY here. Look at that. Just major bullishness here on the dollar yen. So I got to even look at the daily chart, because this thing is hard to even mark up because it's just so bullish, and everything seems to just get bought here on the dollar yen. Now, back to the 4 hour, what we can do is we can highlight at least this previous zone. If you're very bullish on the dollar yen, maybe people are looking for the opportunity to buy this retest, but I'm just not going to rush it here, because although I am bullish on this pair, I'm not going to sort of rush my way into a trade that seems quite extended. So it doesn't mean I'm going to, I'm never going to trade this pair, but I just need a little bit more of a pullback. I got to see what's NZD JPY doing this morning. Phil just says it's looking nice, so let's go look at it. Yeah, NZD JPY is doing real nice. This is a pair that probably one of my most bullish pairs right now is NZD JPY. We will see if we can get up. I think we're probably going to tag this level here soon. We'll see if we can do it today or if it's going to be a little bit later, but had a nice move there on the open. This is a trade that I shared with members inside of the premium group. I can show it to you guys if you'd like, but basically I went long here on NZD JPY. It was a little bit of a scary buy, I'm not going to lie. That all rhymed. But it was a little bit of not a scary buy, but it was like okay, well, it looks like it's quite sell heavy. And, I had someone in the chat said, Nick's just asking to get hurt. And it was definitely a more aggressive entry for me. I didn't really wait for confirmation. I just liked this pullback, and I liked this zone. Now, I actually took a loss on NZD JPY before I took this trade that started becoming a profit. I tried capturing a little bit of the zone there. Didn't quite work out. Took a quick stop loss and just decided to re-enter at the bottom of this range. And so since then, it's been a really great trade, bouncing back strongly as I've been pretty much a bull on the New Zealand economy relative to the Japanese one. Now, I've mentioned it many times, but the idea is NZD or New Zealand, they are their economy is heavily based around trade and global trade. So should things continue to improve pandemic-wise, people are likely to buy the New Zealand dollar. Now, that could change if we get new data, and maybe my bias could change as well. But for the time being, I entered into a major demand zone. I took my buy trade there, had a stop underneath the structure, and caught the bottom pretty nicely, if I can pat myself on the back. But truth be told, you can see I took a trade like there and stopped out very quickly, so I did not play it perfectly by any means, but I shared that trade. I shared the alert with members inside of our private group. And by the way, this is a good time to say it. We have a 25% off sale on our gold membership. There is a link down below in the description. If you want to join, we do live webinars. There's a chat room. There's trade ideas being shared. My alerts go out, as well as Frank and Patrick. And then we also have fundamental research being written upon by our analysts inside of the group. So a lot of really great stuff. If you're serious about trading and you're looking for a community to join, please try it out. You can either sign up for a month and see if it's for you, or if you want to take advantage of our 25% off sale, it is for the gold membership only. So check that out. If you've been waiting to join, now's your chance to get in for a cheaper price. Okay, so there's my sales pitch for the day. But again, NZD JPY running nicely. So let's see if that can keep going. I want to take a look at pound yen. I'm sure this one's doing fantastic. Look at that. And look at this trade setup we talked about. Look how clean this worked out. We talked about the idea that, maybe we get the break and retest here and then just keep going. And look at that. I didn't take the trade because I'm already exposed to the yen right now. So I don't want to sort of overextend my position on the yen at this time. But we can see that price basically broke out of this zone. We talked about this yesterday, or I believe last time we streamed. Price came back, tagged it, and look at that, just rallied right past that level very nicely. And looks like we're probably headed back to the previous high there. So for the bulls out there on GJ, congratulations. You caught some nice moves, I'm sure. If you did not catch this move, it's all good. That's why we're here. We're here to talk about more setups into the future. So where do we see GJ going now? Well, I think we're probably headed to test the recent high. Now from there, I think that the best trades are behind us in terms of these pullbacks. These were great buying opportunities. If you caught those, then fantastic. Congratulations. I was a bull on things against the yen, so I was a bear on the yen recently. So any of these looked really good. It was between, for me, I was looking at Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, Cad yen, and whatever the other one is. I can't remember what I said, but GJ, NJ, AJ, and CJ, all of those. I was looking at those closely and ended up going with NZD JPY. Now, obviously, if I had bought at the same time pound yen, it would have done better. I would have made even more of a pip movement there. However, you can always play that game. You can always do something better in hindsight. In the reality of trading, we should just be grateful if we can catch good moves in the first place, and we should be quick to accept losses when they happen as well. So that's the thought there on GJ. So I think we're probably headed back to the top of this range. From there, where are the best trade setups? Well, I like the idea of just waiting for this to either break higher. I think we've gotten a healthy pullback here. It's very possible that price could do one of these, shoot right past the high, and sort of continue the upward party. So until further notice, for me, there's no trade here on GJ. However, if we were to break out higher and then pull back, there very well may be some opportunities to do something like that. But again, would probably have to see a nice clean break there and then looking for any signs of weakness or pullback there to look for setups long, okay? And again, any trades that I end up taking, I will share inside of our private group, and using that code YTLive, you get 25% off for a very limited time. So check that out and take advantage if you've been looking to join us. Speaking of AUD JPY, how's this one doing? This one also doing very, very well. I was watching this one, but I really wanted to get in. So I mentioned that I took NZD JPY. It's because it came down to a level sooner that I was watching. And I'm glad that I took it because very quickly after it sort of reversed. And I had the idea to get long on Aussie yen if it started to get down to the bottom. So I just missed this by a little bit, but it's all good because again, I took New Zealand yen, which is working out nicely. However, you can see I was very close to this where I wanted to get in on Aussie yen. But yeah, so I think same sort of story with Aussie yen. I think the most natural place for price to head is probably the previous high here. So if we go ahead and draw in the supply zone, this previous high where price found sell pressure, a lot of it, right? I think we're probably headed back to retest that zone. So not really, willing to take any trades where we're currently at. And again, I think in this case as well, the best trades were behind us at this zone of support, which I ended up taking on the long side. So we will see. We will see if price can get up to that point. Looking like we're on the top half of the middle of this range. So very, very well could just make our way up to that point. And from there, it's a question of whether or not, sellers can hold that high point if the 85 level can get held, or if we're going to break higher from there. If we do break out, same sort of story on pound yen. Euro yen, yeah, we'll take a look at euro yen really quick. Euro yen is one that I am super not interested in, to be honest with you, just because I am bearish on the euro and bearish on the yen fundamentally. However, from a technical view, there's been some nice setups here. Same sort of concept, beautiful level of support there. But you can kind of see this one has just, it's been a little bit more choppy than some of the others because both of these sort of currencies are sell biased right now and probably pretty bearish across the board. People are, Europe bouncing back slow, and also the yen being sold because it is sort of more risk off, and people are gaining more confidence in markets right now. So that's what I'm looking at on euro yen. Just watching, this zone here of support looked pretty good. I think same sort of concept as the other yen pairs. If we continue to see yen weakness, we're probably headed back to the previous high there sometime soon. And again, that's just going off of the longer term trend that we have here to the upside on this pair. All right, what else? We talked about Cad Yen, so let me see if I can pull up Cad Yen for you guys. So, Cad Yen, again, similar story. A lot of the yen pairs moving very similar to one another right now. So if price were to come down again, if we were to get a retest here, I'd probably still be a buyer here and just trading this range while it lasts. But I think overall, the Cad Yen probably still headed higher. We'll see if I'm right about that, but that's just my view on the fundamentals is, bearish on the yen, bullish on the CAD, and those risk-on currencies at this moment. So we'll see. Let's look at dollar Swiss really quick. Another risk-on versus risk-off currency. Well, the U.S. dollar kind of doubles as risk-on and risk-off. It's because it's a dominant economy in the world, so people sort of trust it. But it also has a lot of growth to it too because of how dominant it kind of is. So it's sort of an interesting. It flips between being an on and off risk currency. So. Dollar Swiss moving higher here, breaking through the previous high. This is a really good thing for the bulls out there on dollar Swiss. We can see what was a major level here, sort of got pushed right through today. And now as we retest it, the question is, can we hold this and continue higher? And I would probably lean towards yes. So it seems high. Yes, it seems like it's got to come down sometime, right? But the problem with markets, the problem with people's perspective of markets is that too high really doesn't exist. It can keep going much, much higher so long as the fundamental driving force, what's going on in the world, continues to say so. Value is not necessarily determined by price being oversold or overbought. Value is based on, is there a fundamental driver that is going to continue to push the dollar again against the Swiss higher, right? That's what matters, is understanding the story, not just saying, oh, well, it came down really far, so it's got to come back, right? That's a dangerous thought process because markets can go for a lot longer than people think. So yes, it will pull back at some point. We don't know exactly when All markets do. You know, markets never move in a straight line forever, but they can do it a lot longer than you think. You might say, oh, it's too high here, it's got to come down. And it just keeps going and going and going, right? So for me, that's why I'm a trend follower. That's why I like to look for, you know, continuation plays and just going with the momentum until it's no longer there, and not trying to outsmart everything and trying to call tops and bottoms. That's just it's a tougher game. I think it's possible to do, and I know, you know, some people who really like to do that, but I think it is quite difficult. For those of you guys who are here with me live, thank you so much for joining me. If you would do me a favor, like the stream down below. We're currently at 107 likes on the stream. If we could run that up to 200, that would be fantastic. There's 430 something of us right now. So if you guys could like the stream, if you're enjoying these, I do these for free. This is basically, I do a little prep work before this, come into the office, you know, read through what's going on in the world, and then I just go live with you and I talk about setups and concepts. So if you enjoy these streams, do me a favor and like it down below, and that would be awesome. That would help quite a bit. So let's see if we can run that like button up. We call these the like trains, and I like to draw a train just to show you guys how serious I am about this stream. It's a very serious thing for me. But each day I try and draw a train just to show you guys, you know, that I appreciate your likes. All right, so here's our like train for the day. For those of you guys who like this part of the stream, for the rest of you who are like, what the heck are you doing? I'm drawing a train to garner likes, to earn your like. If it's a bad train, you have to like the video. And if it's a good train, you really have to like the video. So there's us wearing our party hat and driving the train. Train's got to have a, there you go. What would you rate that train out of 10? Drop in the comment, or drop in the chat really quick. Out of 10, how good is today's like train? Is it a 10 out of 10? Is it a 1 out of 10? Let me know. Drop a comment. And thank you guys very much for the likes. We're almost there at 200, so keep clicking that like button if you're enjoying the stream. Again, like I said, I do these for free. I do it anyways just because it's a good way for me to do my analysis and just to kind of get my thoughts down before I look for trade setups in the week. And for those of you guys who want to tune in the future, we do these 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Eastern time. U.S. Eastern time. So that is 37 minutes ago at this time. So you can just look at your clock right now, whatever it was 37 minutes ago when you're watching this. If you're watching with me live, then that is when we go live here. So you can tune back in and do more analysis with me in the future. Look at that. We got lots of 10 out of 10s and 11 out of 10s, 10, 12 out of 10. Not bad. Solid 6, says Stuart. I'll take it. I'll take it. I was expecting a bunch of like 2 out of 10s, but I think you guys are hyping me up too much. Anyways, there's the like train for today. And I think today's conductor is going to be Phil. Phil is the conductor today. So thank you, Phil. And let's move on. Thank you guys seriously for the likes. We made it to 200 likes. Awesome. Very, very cool. All right, so what else can we look at? So we've looked at some of the majors. I want to look at gold just because we got to pull up gold for the gold lovers out there. Ooh, look at this, you guys. Gold is making a move today. Okay, now something's happening on gold. Gold's been like this this just quiet person in the corner, and everybody's just trying to get them to talk. And then now finally, gold is opening up. So you can see gold was in this really strong range here. I talked about this yesterday. I just said, you know, gold being quite back and forth. Every time price would get to the bottom of this range, it would get bought and sold up at the top. So now we actually see price today making a move here. And this looks bearish. Go figure. We've been sort of bearish biased here on the gold market. Now it's just a question of, you know, if we get any sort of retest, I think we're probably due for a move back down to the lows, just going off of the trend here. You know, if we look at the 4-hour chart here, you can kind of see, you know, the overall trend here has just been down. It does look like this breakout has some strength to it. We'll see if it can hold. If it does hold, I think we're probably seeing a move down to 1680 on gold, and that could happen by the end of the week now. So keep an eye on gold. If there is some nice bearish setups, then I'll definitely be looking out for them. I'm not a big person to like to short gold. I don't like to short gold very often because over time it is something that has gone up, and so I just don't like to add sort of disadvantages against me, right? So I usually don't short the SPY, I don't short the stock market, and I don't short gold just because these things are naturally sort of they drift higher. So I don't want to be shorting them. However, there is nothing wrong with being short term, having a bearish outlook and thinking that price could come down. I think I bought some gold long term in my portfolios here. So as price came down to that point, I wasn't at the bottom. I think it was like right here or something. I bought some gold just to stick in my longer term portfolio. However, short term, I'm still bearish here just because we got a lot of bearish structure. Look at that gold really even pushing here as we're looking at it, really making its move there. My goodness, down to 17.15, 17.14 there. For the bears out there, congrats if you caught the break. Look at that. It is just moving this morning. I wonder if that's US dollar strength. Let's go look at the DXY. A little bit. Looks like it's more just gold, whatever's happening with the gold market. But my goodness, man, we're really selling off on gold here as we look at it. Mandela says 2 out of 10 for the train, 10 out of 10 for the analysis. Oh, that hurts me. 1 out of 10, says Kyle. You guys, you're a tough crowd. 0 out of 10, says Meg. Thank you for your honesty, I guess. I liked that like train. But gold, like I said, really moving here. I think, I think price is probably headed down. I think like the most natural place for it to go if the trend was to continue would be to the bottom of this range, which happens to be around 1688 to 1680. So that's where I'd probably put targets on gold if I was looking to short. I think if I was looking for a short setup technically, I'd want to see any sort of retest, any sort of pullback, and signs for it to continue lower. You might say, well, Nick, I might miss the trade. And yes, that would be true. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes, a breakout happens and it just goes like this, right? It just keeps going. And in that case, you can kick yourself, you can get frustrated with yourself. But the reality is for me, I would only want to take a trade if I have a strong, setup and it gives me the setup that I want. If it doesn't give me the setup I want, then I'm just going to be patient and wait for it somewhere else. Trading is like 90% waiting and like 10% actions, if not less, maybe even like 95% waiting, letting things play out, waiting for a setup, and then like 5% of the time entering into a trade. And a lot of the newer traders out there, they think that being a trader means that you have to sit in front of the screen for 8 hours a day and click the button so many different times. Whereas I think if you click the button too many times, your chances of making money go dramatically down. I think it's way more about just looking for setups. If they come your way, maybe take them. If they meet your criteria, if you have a trade setup that you like, just wait for them. Don't force your way into a trade. Does that make sense? 1 million out of 10 for the train. Arun says 1 million out of 10. Thank you very much. That is exactly what I was thinking too. 1 million out of 10. That's the rating that the train gets. Final answer. I think everyone agrees. Great. First time watching? Awesome. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here with me. During the streams, we do all sorts of stuff. Sometimes we draw trains. Sometimes we look at charts. Sometimes we just have a good time. Sometimes we do all sorts of stuff. So thanks for being here and welcome. It's a little bit less formal than some of my videos. You guys might have seen my videos before you found my streams. I try and make my videos somewhat more on the informative side because I have a lot to get through, so I try and be quicker in videos. But during the streams, we go through the charts together, and we also try and just hang out and have a good time. So glad to have everyone here with me. So happy Monday to you. Let's see. Can we looked at GJ. We looked at a lot of the yen pairs. What about pound Canadian? How's this one moving today? Pulling back a bit today, interestingly. This is one. This is sort of a currency pair that I'm not a big fan of because I'm bullish on both the pound and the CAD. usually for me, what I'm looking for, as I've mentioned a few times on stream, is I'm looking for a strong currency versus a weak currency. And I don't just mean like technically strong, but I mean like fundamentally what's going on with their economy versus other economies, and why should I buy their currency versus buying another currency, right? That's the idea. And that is a process that's not, people ask all the time, Nick, how do I do fundamental analysis? And the reality is fundamental analysis, it's hard to just say in a very simple way, oh, fundamental analysis, all you do is you look at this number. The reality is trading with fundamentals, for those guys who want to learn more about that, it's a combination of economic numbers that come out, right? GDP, interest rates, inflation rates, unemployment. It is also listening to statements from things like the ECB, right? The European Central Bank. Then you also have the Fed, right? Listening to their agendas is a big component. So now we've tied two things. And then also, finally, we have geopolitical. Question, can you guys help me out with something real quick? Should I do a video on this topic, like combining these three pillars of fundamental analysis? Should I do a video on this? Would this be helpful to somebody or nah? Let me know. If you guys want me to talk about this in more depth, maybe I'll make a full-blown video about how to do fundamental analysis. But again, it's not an exact science. Fundamental analysis, its biggest criticism is that there's so many variables, so many things to look at, that it's impossible to just objectively be like, you just look at this and then that tells you exactly what's going to happen or anything like that. It's sort of it's almost like a pseudoscience. It's almost like studying many things at once, looking at what's going on economically, the statements and sort of policies by the major banks, and then also what's going on in the world. Is there a pandemic going on? I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, right? Maybe there's Brexit going on. Maybe there's an earthquake in some major country and it's going to set them back by a month, right? Those things matter to the value of a currency. All right, cool. That's a lot of yeses. Cool. I'll work on that. I'll get that planned out and started sometime maybe today, maybe sometime this week. I'm in the office all week, so we'll see what we can come up with and try and get something filmed for you guys. I do want to say one more thing. While I have you guys on that, I have a video coming out today that I worked on like a majority of Saturday. So during the weekends, I spend a lot of time filming on the weekends usually because it's just quiet and I can get stuff done. But I'm putting together a video today for you guys. Let me ask if this would be helpful really quick. If you have a smaller trading account, I have a video coming out today in, in like an hour? In like an hour or so, that is going to be all about growing a small trading account. If you guys have a small trading account, this video is made specifically to you. It is a longer video. It's like 20 something minutes. But if you are serious about trading and you have a smaller amount of capital, I've got some tips for you, some things that you can look at that might really, really help you in your small trading account journey. Okay? If you have a small trading account, totally cool. I'm not insulting you, but it's a different sort of style. It's a different approach. And there's things that you need to think about if you're trading with a small account or if you're trading with a big account. If you guys are here and you have a small trading account, I have a video dropping on how to grow a small trading account the right way. Not talking about flipping accounts in 24 hours, not doing all that BS and all that stuff you see on the internet. If you seriously want to know how to grow a small account, I'm going to give you the best information I have on that completely for free. In about an hour, I have a video coming out on that. I just want you guys to watch it. That's all I'm saying. If you guys have a small account and you need help with it, watch that video that's coming out in an hour. The best thing you can do to make sure you don't miss that video so that you can watch that, so you can watch it later, save it, whatever you need to do, is subscribe to the channel right now if you're not yet subscribed, and click the notification bell so that when it comes out, it will notify you that it just released, okay? That video, I worked on like a lot this weekend, and it's because I want people who have a smaller account to know that it's not impossible to grow a small account, but it is challenging, and there's some unique things that you need to think about and you need to look at in order to actually trade it successfully. So many people with small accounts, they have $1,000 in an account. They have $100 in an account, right? Whatever you've got a small account. Both of these I would consider relatively small. I know 1,000 is not a lot. It's a lot in other parts of the world maybe, but in the U.S., $1,000 is not like some impossible amount of money. Rent in where I live in Atlanta is like $1,300 a month. So, anyways, what I'm saying, if you have a small account and you want to grow it, I've got tips coming out in about an hour in a video that I put a lot of time into. I planned a whole presentation for you guys. So I just want to make sure you guys watch it. So make sure to subscribe to the channel down below and click the bell so that you get notified when that video drops. It's built specifically for you behind the other side of that camera. If you get a small account and you're trying to grow it, it's made for you and it's free. So watch it. All right. That's my video pitch for you guys today. But seriously, I'm very passionate about that subject. I get a lot of slack because I say, trading is hard and you're not going to make a ton of money quickly. And people don't like to hear that because they're like, I just want trading to change my life and all that. But I decided to make that video because I figured if you want the realistic, approach, I'm going to give it to you guys because that's what my channel is all about. Awesome. Thank you guys for the likes. Leandra says we're at 241 likes and going. We appreciate the support you show each day. Yes. And thank you guys to the moderators as well. You guys are amazing just for tuning in. I give out moderator just to people who are here all the time and want to be moderators just because they help sort of keep things neat and orderly. Just keep out the spammers or people who drop that hate in the chat or whatever. So thank you guys for helping out. All right. Starfighter says I tried to message Emily on Telegram, but she hasn't responded yet. Yeah, she's in the office now, so we all are human beings as well. So she had a weekend, and I did too, but I work on the weekends. I can't get away from this stuff for very long. But I just like doing this stuff. It's like my hobby. But Emily should be in the office, and so should Julie. So if you guys have questions, feel free to contact them on the website. If you go to a1trading.com/contact, you can chat with our team anytime you want. You can get access to their Telegram. And also, if you're not in our Telegram chat, you can join it. There's a link down below in the description as well. Jay says, hi, good morning, Nick. Do you do this every day? I just found you. So I mentioned earlier in the stream, I do these Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern. So yes, you can tune in and hang out with me in the future. Your story was amazing, by the way. Hey, thank you very much. That means a lot. I made that video a while ago. I was thinking about remaking it because it's kind of like low quality video. I was thinking about remaking that, but I don't know. I do like to, I don't talk about like myself very much on this channel because it's really not what it's about. This is just about trading, but it's cool that you saw the video and you liked it. So thanks. So yeah, on dollar CAD, this one is another currency pair. Kind of mixed emotions here for me, or mixed opinions here, because I'm bullish on the US dollar, but I'm also bullish on the Canadian dollar at the same time. Both of these are currencies that I believe are strong, or they objectively are strong. They've had good years so far. And so I'm pretty much not interested in being a major bull or a major bear either way. I think just from a technical view, a move up to these levels here could offer some good supply levels just to continue the overall downtrend as people continue to favor the CAD overall. Why? Well, because the oil market is rebounding quite strongly overall, which bodes well for the Canadian dollar. Why? Because their economy is quite heavily, or not quite heavily, but it is a component to their economy is the oil market, right? They have a lot of natural resources up in that ginormous country of theirs. And a lot of it has to do with oil. So their business can be, their economy can be heavily impacted by the oil market. Look how much gold has dropped. Let's go back and see. Now look at it. Oh my goodness, man. We were just at 1715. Now we're 1706. That's a big move there. Look at that sell pressure on gold today. Really coming in hot there on gold, pushing lower as we come into the New York session here. Very, very interesting. Anyways, you guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here today. I enjoyed our stream a lot today. I thought we got some good ideas, and we chatted today. So just a reminder, if you have a small trading account, in about an hour, I've got a video coming out just for you. I highly encourage you to wait for that video and watch it in full. You can set alerts for my channel by clicking the bell next to the notification. I don't even care if you turn it off later, but if you turn it on today, click the bell right now, you'll get access to that free video that's coming out in an hour. That's like a full-blown like course or guide on growing small accounts. So if you want that, click the bell. Anyways, you guys, that's all for me. Thank you so much. Before I go, last thing I want to say, if you've been meaning to join our community, we're doing a 25% off sale today. There's information about that in the description. Use code YTLive for 25% off our gold membership option. Check that out. We don't do sales all the time, so please, if you have any interest, now's your chance to get in for a discounted rate. Check that out. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back tomorrow. What's up, you guys? I'm so excited to announce that TradingView is going to be sponsoring our content here on YouTube. TradingView.com offers a wide range of trading software and charting tools, and they are my #1 favorite place for everything charts. I've been using them myself for years, so it's very easy for me to get behind TradingView.com. On top of all of their fantastic charting software, they also have a vibrant community of traders with millions of active users. You can join in on some of the conversations going on there, as well as access some of the research and ideas being shared by fellow members. Whether you use Bollinger Bands, using moving averages, or pattern trading, whatever you do, TradingView has so many different tools, and even the ability to program your own custom tools right inside of their platform. One of my favorite things about TradingView personally is that I can take my laptop anywhere I want. I can access my TradingView.com account, and then I can log into it from my phone or a different computer and still have all of my charts loaded, which is fantastic and super convenient for being in different places like myself, where I have different charts that I am looking at. Recently, some of the nice people over at TradingView set me up with a pro version of their platform, and it is fantastic. I encourage you though, if you haven't already signed up for a TradingView account, sign up for one for free. There's a link down below in the description to try it out. And hey, if you really like it, try out their pro version. They're supporting the content that you guys see here and making it all possible. So